All right, we are live. Aloha, patrons and listeners. This is Stuart Yoshida, host of the OokTown podcast, where we talk about all things ukulele. And you will notice that we do not have Mr. Doug Brown to give us his famous introduction, and he always likes to let you know that I'm somewhere in my basement in Fort Collins. So that is you're gonna have to just imagine Doug strumming his ukulele right now, and maybe I'll have him play something. What I would like to do right now is I'd like to introduce David Blake, who is the founder of the Kanikapila Project, based in New York. And he does that project is to do healing through ukulele, and we'll get into that a lot more during this podcast. But welcome, David.
Aloha. It's so wonderful to be here, Stuart. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Now, so let's. I'm just off the top. How do you know Sarah Goodroad? Because a lot of listeners might know Sarah. She's the founder of Bug, the Boulder Ukulele Group.
I've thank you. I found that there's all these networks and amazing connections with the ukulele community. And actually, about a year and a half ago, I was talking with Uncle Kimo Hussey, who is involved with my
Mm.
initiative, and he introduced me to a wonderful person, Mike Margolis, who is out on Kauai, who runs an organization called Healthy Ukulele, which provides free ukulele lessons to anybody who's currently on a cancer journey.
Oh
And
wow.
so I was saying we're looking to expand. We're looking to meet more people. And he said, do you know Sarah in Boulder? And it was just as easy as that. And we've been having a number of good conversations about how we can bring ukulele to the Colorado community, either hospital based or just kind of Kapila. And she was kind enough to introduce me to you. So aloha, Sarah. Thank you for this very much.
Awesome. That is very cool. That how you that connection with Sarah. Um, let's see here. And I am not seeing. Oh, no, that is. Sorry, hold on here.
Oh,
Checking.
good.
I should have done this beforehand, and I apologize. This is my microphone. Channel one. Okay, I can see my. I'm gonna have to turn up my signal. Hold on. I
Okay.
apologize, everyone. And maybe that's why you're having trouble hearing me, because I need to. Oh, yeah. So many dials and buttons. Here we go. That's probably a lot louder now, isn't it?
It's good.
Can you hear me better? All right. Okay. So I think that is a little better. And one more thing I'm going to do. Oh, your signal looks really good. And I'm just not. Oh, I should have done this beforehand. You can tell I need glasses here. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna go with what we have right now. I think
Okay.
that's gonna be good enough. Um, so, um, yeah, so that's a really cool connection with Sarah. So, uh, and tell me more about how you know Uncle Kimo Hussey. He seems to know everybody.
He's a wondrous soul. I'm just so privileged to know him. I've been on a bit of a philanthropic journey for the past 5, 6 years, where with my day job, I am privileged to be part of an association that allows to support organizations around the world, trying to
Oh,
make the
neat.
world a bit calmer and nicer.
Yeah.
And I started getting involved with music therapy and was introduced to ukulele through an organization you may know, the Ukulele Kids Club,
You
where
bet.
I met Corey Bergman. we dropped off a very nice grant check to UKC and for a music therapy program where I am back in New York State, and I just was stunned and blown away by the work that they're doing and the work of these wonderful men and women who provide comfort to people and not in a good place. And I started building on that, and we started working with getting involved with ukulele work at Dell Children's Hospital down in Houston, down at the Harvey Healing Days program after Hurricane Harvey. And I heard
Oh,
about this wonderful situation where they were going to take 6 pieces of wood from this tree from Belize, and they were going to each give it to luthiers, I think, in Okinawa, Maui,
yes,
and four in the
yes,
mainland. And that was, I guess,
yeah,
Eddie Monnier from Luthiers for a Cause. And
yeah, yeah.
um, so we went to they brought these ukuleles to the Ukulele Guild of Hawaii festival in Honolulu, and I met Uncle Kimo there briefly. Watched him and his friends play these 6 beautiful ukes, and that's when I first became aware of who he was. And um, through a couple of years, we did a really nice thing that during that event, we created a live 8-minute interview on Hawaii Public Radio about the power of music. And unbeknownst to me, on the way to school one morning, a physics teacher from the Punahou School was listening to this interview, and he had this idea that, hey, maybe we can teach the high school physics students how to understand physics by building ukuleles. And so I
Okay.
reached out to Uncle Kimo. He introduced me to Mike Chalk, who is president of Ukulele Guild of Hawaii. We brought the luthiers into Punahou, and over the course of a month or two, they built like 30 ukes, and
Wow, wow.
using this modern equipment. It was an amazing experience. I went there to receive them from the um, to recognize the work of these students, and from that, I got to know Uncle Kimo, and um,
Cool.
it's been a great journey ever since then too.
Wow, that is pretty neat. Of course, Punahou, and you got Obama there. Uh, so that's a neat connection to have them do that. And so Kimo, he just moved back to the Big Island, didn't he? So, by the way, how do you know so many people in Hawaii?
So, good question from someone from New York to be so involved. I have been in love with the people and the culture and the way of Hawaii since I was about 7 or 8 years old.
Oh,
My
wow.
my father first took me there when I was a young boy, and I've had the good fortune to go back. And then through professional reasons, I made very good friends with friends who live in Manoa Valley. And one individual was a crew of the Hokulea. And so I got
Wow.
very involved with PVS and got to know some of the navigators. And actually, when the Hokulea came to New York, I was part of the committee to try to build a meaningful event for them in New York and met some
Wow.
individuals from Halavai. So I just have continued to be in awe and humbled by this. In all candor, too, I am absolutely in love with Kilauea. I've been there 7 or 8 times. Anytime the Pele is getting active, my wife knows I'm on a plane to go watch. Um, so
Wow.
I think this, it's not paradise. There's obviously, issues and challenges everywhere, but I love the way, and I'm in love with the people that I've met there. And if I can in any way help the community and build meaning, I'm going to do it. So probably
Wow.
35 times there now.
Wow.
My only problem is I don't rip up my return trip home. But so I just so between PVS and working with Punahou and working with ukulele and I just have made a lot of good connections and honored that people still are my friends out there.
Wow. Okay. So you really have a long, deep connection. Yeah, the Hokulea was an amazing project. And is that still going on?
Yes, I
Uh,
believe it actually just taken off on another voyage right now. I was hoping to go visit next later this coming month, but yes, one of my friends was very involved working with Nainoa Thompson, and I just reached out to her this week, and I believe that they're about to set off, if they've not set off, on another journey at this point in time. But it
yeah,
was beautiful.
that's pretty amazing. Yeah, they just, sailing by the stars and the wind and the sea and the currents are just blows my mind.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
and there's a amazing and tragic story, of course, of the first journey of Hokulea. But
Eddie.
yeah, Eddie would go,
Yeah.
as they say.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm really glad that they persevered, and then they did it again, and then they made it all the way down to Tahiti.
It was a wondrous, wondrous journey, and the work of the Polynesian Voyaging Society, and when they get to the countries and the places all around the world to talk about that we are all on an island, and we have a responsibility to take care of our island called Earth. I think the mission is really quite beautiful, and frankly, when they came to New York, they introduced me to other charities that focus on sustainability here in New York that I've
Mm.
stayed in contact with today. So my one trip to my friend in Manoa Valley, who introduced me to his daughter, introduced me to this. It's the chain and path that's led us to here today that I will
Yeah,
forever be grateful for.
it's all those little connections, and the slender threads is the golden threads, as someone called it. The hokulea is a good reminder that we are all immigrants, and I love that metaphor of, because nothing was on the island of Hawaii 65 million years ago. Everything came over there, so everyone, including the first human inhabitants, were immigrants. And they it's an amazing story how they proved that with the hokulea. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, I think they can do this. It's like, really
Yeah,
sail
yeah,
across whatever 3,000 miles, and
it's
uh,
astounding.
yeah, you know, and the North Star and finding all that. So yeah.
Which I didn't understand the depth of it, frankly, and I know this is not supposed to be about Hokulea, but I love that when the navigators came to New York, they we went to the Museum of Natural History, to the planetarium, and they put actually the stars on the ceiling, and they put the star charts and showed us how the navigators do this, and just the depth of culture and the depth of insight.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
and that they brought this back. And I didn't know that. I guess the Hokulea is the name of the star. That when you're
Mm-hmm.
only underneath the Hokulea when you're on the island of Hawaii. So,
Right. It's their North Star. I mean, it's a
yep,
guiding star, so to
truly,
speak, to how they get to Hawaii. So they figured that that's what how the first Polynesians went back and forth. They would just go, "Oh, that's the star we'll focus in on," and the next time they came, that's how they figured it out. So
it's wonderful.
yeah, pretty amazing. So so the healing uh, initiatives here. So you just had another event. You just showed a picture of that. Well, tell me about that New York one that you just did.
Absolutely. So last year we had Uncle Chemo coming to New York, and we were performing, or he was performing, at an organization called the Institute for Music and Neurologic Function, which focuses on music therapy initiatives. And there he was teaching music therapists how to use this instrument because, unbelievably, music therapy, the National Association recognizes the piano and recognizes the guitar as instruments. It doesn't recognize the ukulele.
Oh,
And
is that
so,
right?
yeah, so
Way.
we're looking to change that. We're going to change that if we can.
Yeah.
But we find in my work with music therapists that the ukulele is really the instrument that is most appropriate for children, for individuals.
Yeah.
You can easily learn. You can express yourself well, even adults. And so we had him there to work with some music therapy students to teach this. One of my good friends in Ohio happened to be watching the live stream we were doing of that, and he said to me, "I'm part of this high school where we lived, where the choir where I went to school as young man, and my daughter went to school, as graduated. We go to either Nashville or New York City." Every other year to go perform for inner city populations or anyone who would appreciate music. And my
Mm.
friend said, "I want to teach the choir how to play ukulele." And so this crazy seed idea grew that we work with dear friends from a ukulele manufacturer. We sent in 40 ukuleles to a town outside of Akron, Ohio.
Oh
Uncle
wow.
Chemo and I flew to this town. He spent a day or two working with them, playing with them, working with the music teacher, all for the culmination of last week, where these students came to New York City. And for 48 hours, we were exposing them to aspects of New York they may not have ever seen, but bringing music to all
Mm.
these communities too. We started the day with a charity called Friends of Firefighters, which provides confidential counseling to firefighters who suffer from
Mm.
PTSD. And we've
Mm.
actually, with Uncle Chemo's help, have started a ukulele group of firefighters and first responders, which
Oh wow.
we're calling the Aloha Brigade, or they're calling themselves the Aloha Brigade. And it's comprised of firefighters, children whose parents have died in service,
Oh.
and they're using this as a healing group for themselves. But now the intention is to go and play for hospitals. And so we brought the choir there, and then they went and played at a firehouse in New York. They
Wow.
did a live stream concert. And then one of the most beautiful things is that we went to an inner city school in the Bronx where
Mm.
these children have it's really a very tough environment for these young people.
Mm.
And the choir went there and they played their ukes for the K through 3, and then 4 through, or K through 2 and 3 through 5. Um, and they were singing. They actually, turns out there's an ukulele group of 15 fourth and fifth graders in the middle of the Bronx.
Wow.
And
Wow.
so, yeah, it was wonderful.
That's
So
cool.
um, we played with them, and then we were talking to the music teacher and said, her name is Ariel, and Chemo asked Ariel, how many kids do you teach? She says, well, I only have ukes for 15. Um, and then my friend Ted from the choir said, well, would it help you if we left all 30 ukuleles behind for your school program? And that's what they
Wow.
did.
Wow,
So
that's very cool.
it was beautiful. And we actually, Chemo and Zanuck Lindsay, who's another phenomenal musician I've met through Uncle Chemo recently, they've known each other and played for like 20 years. We went back to the school the following Monday, and they were teaching these kids how to play. They were just,
Uh,
so, so it was beautiful. Then, oddly
wow.
enough, we had them playing. It's going to sound odd. The choir came from a Christian academy in
Hmm.
Ohio, and they were fascinated by Jewish Friday night services. And I let them listen to a song from a congregation in Manhattan, and the choir's like, "We want to go." Um, and so the choir literally
Wow.
worked with the rabbis, the music directors of the synagogue, and they learned how to play a Jewish prayer.
Oh,
And they were on the main stage Friday night, 25 kids singing. Uncle
wow.
Chemo and Zanuck were there playing ukulele in front of like hundreds and hundreds of people. So
Oh,
it's been
wow.
this wild thing. So then the choir went home, and then on Sunday we went to go to upstate New York. There's a charitable organization called Guardian Revival that's started by a retired Navy SEAL to help
Mm.
veterans who deal with depression, bad thoughts, just in need of
Mm.
healing. And Alex, who started it, said we have three disciplines. One is hiking to be part of nature. Other is
Mm-hmm.
to have comfort dogs, and the third is music.
Mm.
And so Uncle Chemo and Zanuck and myself and some firefighters, we went up there and we had an education session with first responders and soldiers playing ukulele. And we expect this will be an ongoing part of our work, is to just maintain contact with them. So
Wow.
it was a wild, diverse couple of days, but we really touched between soldiers to first responders to, cross-cultural outreach to leaving the ukuleles behind. And it was just a wondrous time. Um, Still coming down off the high of being a part of that and the privilege of being
Wow.
part of that.
And that just happened, right?
Yeah, well, they just Uncle Chemo and Zanuck went home on 2 days ago, or actually 3 days ago. So
Mm. Wow.
we're still emailing back and forth. Can you believe that this happened? And yeah, we're hoping this will not be the last time this happens. But it was really a meaningful part of a walk we'll take with these organizations. We hope for many years to come.
Yeah, you know, just as I think uh, we've been talking a lot on the show over the past years about ukuleles in the classroom. I think ukuleles in music therapy is really something it's just because of the size, the affordability, and the reach, of the ukulele, just how it can really in a short amount of time, people can play and people can resonate with the music.
Without
So
question.
I am surprised that the music therapy hasn't recognized the ukulele, but maybe it's still kind of new in its presence or use.
Um,
I don't know.
I'm afraid to step into that arena and that conversation because I can't speak for what's happened in the past. But I do know that we're working with and spoken with music therapists uh, from several in Hawaii to Texas to Colorado to Cleveland. I mean, all over the country. It is an instrument that is uniformly used in creating healing or
Yeah.
occupational therapy. Yeah, it's such a beautiful instrument, as you say. It's so approachable, and the outcomes can
Hmm.
be so quick. We actually had Uncle Chemo and Zanuck come to my office, and I had 5 employees who do not play whatsoever. And it may
Hmm.
seem simple, but we had them playing jambalaya in about 3 minutes, and it was fun.
Nice.
It was fun.
Yeah, that's the reach of the ukulele is pretty cool, pretty amazing.
Hmm.
Uh, and I would think that especially in Hawaii, how long have they been using ukuleles in Hawaii for music therapy? Is that new also, or has that been
I
around
think,
for a while?
well, as you know, ukulele has been part of the DNA of Hawaii for centuries now.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of music therapy, I know that there are some music therapy initiatives that do exist in Honolulu. I think Sounding Joy is the name of a really good group there. Um, but it's really, as a finding, that music therapy is not usually funded by anything other than grants and the goodness out of people's hearts. The
Mm-hmm.
challenge that I've seen, and why one of the reasons we also form this organization, is that most music therapists aren't on a hospital's payroll, aren't
Mm-hmm.
funded. They have no insurance benefits. And um, sad example was down in Houston. I met Ariel and Alex, two phenomenal music therapists at Houston,
Mm-hmm.
at the Children's Hospital. Those two wonderful people have 1,000 children to take care of.
Wow.
In Kapiolani, Medical Center for Women and Children, I know that the Child Life Services individuals, or people that bring creative arts to the children, they do introduce and have introduced music therapy in the past, but um, finally now I'm so grateful they're stepping up and saying, okay, let's really get a music therapy resource going here for the children at the
Mm-hmm.
hospital,
Mm-hmm.
because the outcomes are just so evident for everybody.
Yeah, it seems that way that should be pretty well recognized. And the other part that is interesting to me is that you guys are the area you're expanding into is more on the music therapy in people experiencing PTSD, right?
Good.
Firefighters,
Mhm.
veterans, uh, and anyone in general. You can get PTSD from a whole number of things, not just from
Mhm.
war or a fire or something like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've been, and I wouldn't want to call it PTSD, but I think it's people are healthier when they have connections to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a while, I moved away from ukulele and I started working with charitable organizations that focus on isolated elderly.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been
Wow. Yeah.
working, there's a beautiful organizations that take preloaded iPods with musics that
Mm-hmm.
our elders have grown up with, and they find that they come back, they become more engaging and
Yes.
alive.
Right.
Um, but and PTSD is an all-encompassing phrase. I was exposed to this 10 years ago. I've been living in New York City for 37 years and
Mm.
went through
Mm-hmm.
9/11. And
Oh
thank
wow.
God all my friends and everyone's fine. But I remember the city with like funerals everywhere, these poor firefighters, everyone.
Yeah.
And I connected this organization called Friends of Firefighters that provide these wellness services to these individuals. And
Mm-hmm.
it could be biofeedback, it could be just talk story, it could
Mm-hmm.
be anything. Um, but music is just a way, as you know, Kanakapila, it makes your heart sing, it makes your heart better. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so while we did start this with children, because the reason I started this is that I saw all these kids sitting in the hospitals waiting for music therapists to come around with these instruments, not knowing what to do with them, and therefore not having the opportunity to engage and feel better. And so we started with kids, still
Mm-hmm.
continuing on in that area, but it's an unintended or serendipity to find that soldiers, veterans, the elderly um, love this. We frankly,
Mm-hmm.
another podcast for you, perhaps. I've met a gentleman in Michigan that he plays ukulele with one hand.
Mm.
Um, and
Wow.
he actually he suffered a trauma in his teens, and he has taught himself how to play the uke with strums and picks with his pinky, and he plays chords with the other three fingers. And he's building a
Wow.
curriculum for one-handed individuals now.
Wow.
So I think we all need to connect with music in our own way.
Yeah.
Um, so
Yeah.
we started with kids, but it just is really just has expanded to all these other. Everyone can benefit from playing music and ukulele.
Wow. Well, definitely. You know, um, before members of the 442nd
Yep.
left, they're Japanese Americans, but from Hawaii. The ones that came from Hawaii, of course, took their ukuleles, and that's what they had in their barracks before they went to war over
Mhm.
in the European theater. Yeah, so it's been used like sort of like that for a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
I was talking with Alex, who started Guardian Revival, about how is it these big music is so important to these soldiers, these guardians
Mm-hmm.
who,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, for centuries, forever, soldiers would sing battles before they would go into war. After, music has been part of every aspect of our culture, of our heritage.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so it's been a privilege to see how this music has really helped them. The Aloha Brigade is run by my friend Jesse, and Jesse was a firefighter who was off duty on 9/11, but he
Mm-hmm.
spent months trying to rescue his fellow firefighters, and
Wow.
he got a degree as a social worker now, and he's leading soldiers on hikes. But he just loves playing the uke, and he's bringing in all these EMS workers, and it's just a leveling universal experience that music somehow makes us feel better.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And uh, and it shows up in all so many interesting places, but at the core of it, there is that level of comfort. There's a famous picture of Neil Armstrong when they were isolated after the moon landing.
Hmm.
That, that they gave, I don't know if his wife or who, but someone gave him an ukulele. So they're in the
Didn't
airstream
know
and
that.
he was playing it. But
Didn't
he was
know. That's
probably
great.
playing it because it was like, hey, that made me feel better.
Hmm.
I just came back from the moon, and then they had to, immediately they shoved him in the isolation chamber for I can't remember 2 weeks or something, but that must have been pretty stressful. So yeah, I mean that's what he had. He was playing an ukulele.
He was probably up to like 4 or 5 chord songs by that time, so it's
I
okay.
don't know. I don't know what his experience was, but I'm pretty sure he was doing it to help him feel better. So,
Hmm.
so you mentioned to me that there's an event on Oahu that you're organizing. Is that coming
Yes,
up?
yes,
What's
it's
what's going
on.
on there?
So on April 30th, from 5 until 9 at night at Cafe Julia in downtown Honolulu,
Hmm.
um, we are running an event to help support Kapiolani Medical Center for Women and Children fund a music therapy program. We are going to, it's dinner. It's bring your ukes if you want.
Hmm.
But we're going to have some really, really astounding people. Obviously, Kimo Hasi will be there. Zanuck will be
Oh,
there.
awesome.
Jake Shimabukuro has been gotten involved with us a little bit. Jake's going to be there as
Cool.
well. And then our guest of honor will be Roy Sakuma.
Hmm.
I've had the privilege of getting to know Roy and Kathy in recent years and the work that they do with children at Kapiolani, as well as just general messaging of dealing with,
Mm.
adolescent depression
Wow.
and helping the kids feel that they are good as they are.
Yeah.
So we're going to literally have these individuals at Cafe Julia. It's
Hmm.
We're going to look to have a 3-hour event, and then certainly the Kanakapila is prone to break out sometime during the event, and at the end of it, just bring your ukes, and we're going to be trying to play a pivotal role in bringing more of an ongoing music therapy resource to the children who are being treated at Kapilani right now. So
Wow.
real excited, real excited. Jake has been unbelievable. Jake, in recent months, has gone to with some of our ohana to play for children in hospitals. He's been engaging, supportive of what we're doing. I am,
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, I'm so honored. Jay, it's so wonderful. He's such a wonderful, wonderful soul, and so
He
um,
is.
really is. So we're excited. I'm just going to sit back and we're going to invite as many people as we can. We've got room for more. It's on our website that people can do this, and we have some silent auctions. I think two of the cake companies have already donated nice ukes for this. There's some other nice things in silent auctions.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a. It's great. There's a luthier in Chicagoland called Mayamoe Ukulele, and
Yeah. Yeah.
Carrie.
No, I thought he retired.
So he retired, and Carrie took over. Carrie
Oh,
was
okay.
learning from him, and Carrie's still doing
Yeah, no,
well.
Carrie's with what was it? He changed the name though. It's oh
I
he
think so. We
Aaron
were
oh no, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm getting mixed up. I'm
okay.
I'm getting mixed up. I'm thinking of Aaron Kime. So Aaron
Yes.
Kime, uh went off and did his own ukulele brand. I'm sorry.
No,
So
that's fine.
yeah,
Yes,
so My Moy is still operating, or what's going on?
absolutely. So I guess the founders retired, but the individual that was they were teaching has continued on with the brand and in the same
Ah,
construct. And
neat.
we heard about him last year, and Carrie is his name. Carrie Kelly is amazing. He said,
Mm,
I want to configure, build a uke. However, put it out there. Configure your best uke.
mm-hmm.
And he took all these suggestions, and Uncle Chemo picked of the five finalists. He picked the suggestion, a design. Carrie built it. Um,
Wow.
and we're gonna be bringing that in a lucky drawing to Hawaii as well, and it's gorgeous. Chemo's played it,
Mm-hmm.
Roy Sakuma's played it, Jake has played it.
Nice.
It's some good tones to it. So we're gonna
Oh,
be
great. Yeah, it's
so
gonna have some pretty good energy with all those people
we
playing it
hope
already.
we would think so. We would think so. Uh, so we're
Wow.
excited. We're excited, and we have been grateful and humbled by the support we've gotten in the community there, and we're going to be actively hearing. There'll be radio spots on television, news
Oh,
over the
wow.
next. So yeah, we really think that this could be an important development in helping bring music therapy to Hawaii. And even if people can't
Yeah.
go, we don't know about live streaming it yet because of the time zone differences. We'd like to figure out how to
Mm,
do that. Um, but even individuals who want to support this or look to tickets, they can do that
yeah.
through our website as well, kanakapilaproject.org. And that's all there.
That's very cool. Now, the king and queen of live streaming is Sarah Mizell and Craig G. So if you know them, and Roy Sakuma has a close connection with him because he kind of handed off the reins to them. I don't know if you
Yes.
have met
Yes.
them,
I
but
have not met them yet, but I would love to. I would love
yeah,
to.
I don't. Yeah, you could maybe contact Roy about that because they have done, during COVID, Sarah and Craig did an amazing job with live streaming and
Yes, I did.
coordinating this incredible array of musicians to join them. And I just don't know how they did it. And I think they were not only participating, but they were doing all the behind the scenes and raising a little kid. So every once in a while you see their young kid who's probably
Yep.
pretty old now. But anyway,
Like
yeah,
us.
that sounds.
Yes.
I think that would be great to live stream
It's
it too.
I would love that to happen. And so we'll talk and get there. We're still working on final details now, and we're doing run of show. But I had was in Honolulu last month and had breakfast with Roy and Kathy, and just such
Mm,
wonderful people, and um, so supportive of what we're doing here too. So so yeah, this is our next project, and then we're looking to our focus once we honor this opportunity is we're looking to build a national network of ukulele players
mm-hmm.
who would be willing to lend their time and services to perform for individuals in hospitals or people who are
Yeah,
isolated.
yeah.
So we have, I've got about 50 people volunteering for this organization so far. And one of them is a music teacher, ukulele player who only has 14 ukes. I tell her she's got to stock up some more.
Yeah.
But she's up in Massachusetts, and we're looking to pilot a program working with a New England hospital. We initially started with the idea of children, but they actually now want us to work in hospice care for adults as well.
Oh, wow.
So,
Yeah, that's a great
so,
idea.
so we're working with them right now, and our goal is to really build what we're calling a Kapila net. And any uke player who wants to, say, hey, Colorado Children's Hospital down in Colorado Springs, or
Mm-hmm.
Houston, or any other organization, we're looking once we honor the opportunity that we have in a concert in Hawaii to really focus our time and starting to build connections and relationships that can share music more readily with people across the country.
Well, uh, now you may have already done this, but I would think a natural way to connect would be to have join up with these ukulele communities all over. There's if Doug was on the show, he'd be like all over this. But definitely, I can pass on information. But those are a natural places to connect because they have a built-in, uh, community of players that are used to playing with each other. And I know occasionally they do things at different areas, but I think having a focused way of going, oh yeah, yeah, no, we can set this up, and you guys prepare and come down to whatever the Denver Children's
Mhm.
Hospital on XYZ day, and
Right.
um, yeah, that would be
So
great. So
we're working on that, and we're going to have somebody be responsible for. We've actually have individuals on the team who are responsible for working with child life service representatives, who are the individuals who bring creative resources to hospitals. And
hmm
we're looking for like a an event or deployment organizer to say, hey, we've got Colorado Children's Hospital would like somebody, and we're going to taking our time to build this right. But everywhere we
yeah,
go,
that's
people love the
great.
idea of like, hey, let's bring some music to the kids, let's bring some music to these quiet halls, and that in itself is good for everyone too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's a great idea. So definitely, when you're ready, you can reach back out to me or to Doug Brown, and if there's anything going on in the Denver area, and of course Sarah, she's in Boulder, which is right next
Absolutely.
door.
Yep.
So yeah,
We actually been in conversation with some music therapists and some organizations in your backyard. So I would,
nice.
and I've been to the Front Range a lot in the Western Slope too. So I would love to see us really. Actually, Uncle Kimo and I talked about the idea of coming out to Colorado sometime before the end of the year and replicating what we did in New York. Do this in Colorado as well. So be careful what you offer. It may happen sooner than you think. You know.
Uh, I can tell you that the Denver ukulele community, I'm gonna volunteer Doug, even though I don't. He's the president. I'm just a co-host on this show, but I think he would be interested. I'm gonna volunteer him in advance.
Mahalo. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Doug, if
So
you're listening, I just volunteered you, so hope you're ready.
I'm.
No, he's always ready.
I gotta say, when that happens, and we can bring our friend Zanuck Lindsay there. He's really brought this really wild instrument I've never seen before to New York. He has a six-string ukulele
Mm-hmm.
that the bottom four strings are traditional tuning. And then he added two extra strings and um, calling it a Hawaiian word kiku. And he Jay Lichty, who's this phenomenal luthier, has custom made these for him, and the rich tones he's getting by expanding the range was just really something. Listen to him and Uncle Kimo playing. In fact, on our
Wow.
on our YouTube live stream, we recorded them for 30 minutes or 23 minutes playing last week, so that's up there and posted too. And boy, it's just such a pleasure to sit back and just listen to them play. I
So
just
was this like Slack? Sounds awesome. Do you know if that was Slack key basically,
No, it's really it's truly
or is it droning?
I don't know what the tuning is of the bottom two strings, but literally, unlike slack key, it's not tuned like a guitar. It's literally ukulele, but every once in a while, I just go there, go low, and just bring in some extra tones that normally aren't in
Mm,
the range of ukulele.
right,
It's
right.
quite something, really quite something.
Very cool. Well, I think so. Yeah, it sounds kind of like a low strung ukulele with two more strings, and then uh, maybe they have the lower tones on there also.
I'm getting beyond my comfort level to tell you properly, but
Well,
but
send me. Since we don't have Doug here, who he would be the one gathering all these. If you wouldn't mind gathering some of these links that I could share with the audience, what I do is we have show notes, so I'll send this out, and they can, click on the link and go to your organization or
mahalo.
look at the live stream or they are recorded, and it'd be wonderful to just get these all these resources.
It would be wonderful to share, and I really would appreciate the opportunity to connect to local groups and areas. Actually, the picture behind me was this past Monday, where a good friend of mine, Katie Down, who's with a group called the Ukuleles, and she's a music therapy professor at SUNY New Paltz. She put out an email to the listserv of all the Brooklyn Ukes, and we had like 30 players just hanging out for Kanakapila with Chemo and Zanuck, and it was a really special night. So
Wow.
we're not going to be focused purely on clinical because it's
Mm-hmm.
just it's creating human connection around ukulele that brings comfort, aloha, and joy and healing.
Yeah.
So it can be for kids, but it's just for us too, just to play. Because every time I sit and I listen to them play for an hour, I just come out smiling. It's just it's good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. That having that music there to create that community is really important and amazing. So I do think that that's a nice thing that you added to the mission there is to create those connections, that human connection.
It's
And
been special. It's been
yeah.
special. So
Well, I'm amazed at well, I guess I'm not in a way, but that New York has so much ukulele also, but that I guess that's being
everywhere.
so cosmopolitan, musical, and that kind of thing. I guess so. That's neat though that you have so many things, so many ukulele opportunities in New York. So, and when you said New York, I think I don't know. Hopefully, people understood that you're talking New York City, like the
Yes, in New York,
Bronx, and
in New York City, and yes, and there's actually ukulele groups in Brooklyn. There's ukulele groups in Manhattan.
oh,
And they're all over. I think the
nice,
listserv for Brooklyn is 800 people on it. Um,
wow,
so they never know who's going to show up every time they do a meetup.
yeah,
And it's been astounding, and they're everywhere. New England, there's some great groups in southern New Hampshire. June Pinkham's up there and her group. And there's,
mm,
I met a music teacher actually, Deb Guarnieri. She is a ukulele player in Syracuse,
hmm,
but she also has this amazing thing that she's figured out how to build prosthetics for children with limb disabilities that
okay,
actually allow them to play even if they don't have
oh,
all their access to their fingers. And so
oh,
she's tapped into a network. I'm in all candor, I didn't expect to find such an amazing group of human beings in the ukulele community. Not that they wouldn't be, but the diversity, the
yeah,
caring, the
yeah.
empathy, just such a privilege and a pleasure to get to know these amazing people. I have to forget that I'm a Type A New York City resident and I just chill a little bit, but it's it's been so much fun. It's been so much fun. And I'm starting to learn if I'm hanging out with Uncle Kimo Hussey and around Jake and around Roy Sakuma, I better learn how to play. So I'm making my way through this right now too.
I don't know, that's yeah, okay.
Okay.
We are Doug and I always talk about when we first saw Jake. I saw him for the first time live down in Boulder, but I talk about it a lot. But yeah, I was blown away. I'd been playing guitar and ukulele for a while, but yeah, when you see him, you're just like, wow. And Kimo Hussey, just his touch and feel and things he
Yes,
does
truly,
is just great,
truly.
and his attitude too. He just retired from was civil service or what was he doing? But
He was in the Air Force, I think, for
Air
30
Force.
years. He was a lieutenant colonel,
Okay. Yeah.
and it was actually
Wow.
really, really beautiful. We were together. He flew in from Kauai to Honolulu and visited Kapiolani about a month or so ago, um, and we went up to Punch Bowl. I
Mm.
love going to Punch Bowl Military Cemetery. I think that so many people go to Pearl, but they forget about Punch Bowl. And
Mm-hmm.
we went up there, and we he started playing some songs for the military and talking about
Mm-hmm.
his background. But we cut some songs for the veterans we were going to come see in New York last week, and
Mm.
so yeah, it's I've been privileged to get to know him. I'm honored and thrilled, and not sure how this really is to be, but I'm just grateful for the opportunity and learning a lot from being in his presence too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he has a great, I call it the Hawaiian attitude, so open and welcoming. And then, um, so I guess I'm surprised that he was in the Air Force for a long time. So that was pretty amazing. But I'm so glad that he was able to retire back in Hawaii. I
And
believe he's still there, isn't he?
he's in Kauai now. He's in Kauai. And
Right.
his good friend Zanuck, who I've gotten to know Zanuck, really he loves teaching people Hawaiian traditional songs,
Mm-hmm.
and the history behind the songs as well. That there's a real
Mm-hmm.
depth of culture and knowledge that many people may not know the undertones or the backstory for these songs. And he's been kind to teach me a little bit, just a little bit. And actually, we had a really nice moment. We had the Kanakapila project by short form. We call it TKP, and we
Mm.
had a moment where we had about 50 people in New York on a rooftop this past weekend, and we were all playing ukulele and singing. And then somebody came out and turned out that she was a professional, or she's hula trained, and she was dancing
Oh,
hula and
cool.
talking about her halau.
Right.
And then we all, of course, sang Aloha Oi as the
Mm-hmm.
final song. And I
Right.
guarantee you, very few people understand the poignancy of where that song came from.
Well,
Um,
now we got to be careful here. Actually, the Aloha Oi, I grew up in a community named Maunawili,
Okay.
That is actually where the inspiration for that song "Aloha Oi"
Okay.
came from, because
Well,
that was a so she used to go riding in there up in the hills of Manuel, a beautiful area, and this was about the sadness of leaving that friend as he was going back, I think, to the
huh.
mainland.
That's
So that is
phenomenal.
where Aloha Oi came from. If you really want to know what Queen Liliuokalani thought about the fall of Hawaii, there are songs she wrote, and basically they're in code, and they're a lot more salty about what she feels about what happened. Of course, I mean,
Hmm.
they got the government overthrown
Totally.
basically illegally, and then she was illegally imprisoned until she relented and
Yep.
said okay.
Well, thank
but
you.
but
Thank,
anyway, yeah, just
no,
look
no,
that up.
I
It's
will.
an
Thank you.
interesting one. It does have it's interesting that it does resonate. It's a very beautiful song. But
It
yeah,
does.
just
It does.
yeah,
We
people
had a
think.
nice. Mhm.
Go ahead.
No, no. Please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, people think that that's about the fall of the no, but she wrote other songs there, and she what was the other things? Oh, she could not receive a news of what was going on in the kingdom while she was imprisoned, and so her friends would send her. I believe this is true. Is they would send her flowers and things wrapped in newspaper, so that the newspaper was what had the news in it. So that's how she got the news. So
Unbelievable.
they snuck it in. I believe that's what they did. So anyway, you can look that up too to check me on that.
No,
Really
that's fine.
interesting
That's
stuff
good.
though. But
Thank you. Thank you. I
yeah, no,
it,
yeah, there's so much about that.
yeah,
Um,
I was really it's such a beautiful moving song.
hmm
We the final moment when Chemo and Zanuck were here in New York with me was really poignant and private and smaller but beautiful. And
Very
um,
cool.
there's a gentleman that has been very much of an advocate for me in my work with music and charities. And he's 93 years old, and his wife is
Wow.
95, and
Wow.
she is not in the best of health. And
Yeah.
every Sunday, musicians would come to their home to play for them through another charitable organization we know. By the way, Concerts in Motion, which before the pandemic was putting on 1,000 performances for free in the apartments of New
Wow.
York City elderly.
You're
Um,
kidding. That is all. That's
yeah,
amazing.
they live stream now twice a day, so
Ah,
based on
great
genre.
idea.
Um,
Great
so,
idea.
so I brought Chemo and Zanuck. They graced me because, in a sense, this gentleman Jack, he's Kapuna for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they played Aloha Oi as the final
Mm-hmm.
song for Jack and his wife when they left. And I'm not sure if Jack had ever heard the song, but by the end of it, he was singing along with them. And just such a beautiful, sweet
Mm.
moment that until we
That
meet
is
again,
beautiful.
it was very nice. I'll treasure
Exactly,
that.
and and that's exactly what that song was about,
Hmm.
because it's that Queen Liliuokalani was lamenting and saying, what a beautiful thing we have here, and that now you're leaving me, and to send out with the wishes and blessings and that they'll come back. So that's
Yep.
really cool.
Well,
Very cool.
I hope to be back in Hawaii really soon too. I could be in a couple of weeks too, but I look forward to being in Colorado Springs and thanking you and Doug as well in
Okay,
person.
and I'm in Fort Collins. Doug's in Denver, so definitely stop off in Denver, and he will bring you, I'm sure, to the Denver Ukulele
Okay.
Club
Oh,
community, and for sure you would have a wonderful time
that's
there.
great. So you're north of Denver. You're up in Fort Collins.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah, about an
Okay.
hour north,
Nice.
and Doug's out down in Denver. He takes care of the Denver, one of the ukulele communities, and I believe there's one in Colorado Springs too. Although I'm not as connected to them,
Okay.
and of course, west of Denver is Boulder, and that's where Sarah hangs out. And
Bug. Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
Bug, and hopefully they're still going strong too.
Yep. Yeah. So it's been this has been a wondrous journey, and the fact that that if you leave yourself open to things, you just meet wonderful people. I never would have expected that you and I would be talking today, if not for Sarah, if not for Mike, if not for Chemo. Just as it's a chain, as or say, is a thread,
Yeah,
as you said. It's
yeah, it's that
and
connection. And it seems like the ukulele fosters that. I don't know why. There's some mana or something that's imbued in the instrument itself. It
mhm.
seems like people gravitate to wanting to do this and creating connections. So really awesome that you're doing that.
Mahalo.
And so, what are your? So you've got this huge event coming up
Mhm.
over in Hawaii for the Kapilani Hospital. And what other projects do you want to mention? Uh,
Well, for us right now, we're looking to focus on three real pillars. Um, One of the things we're looking to do is build curriculums and free workshops for music therapists. We want to help
great.
these individuals because we believe it'll just help them create better outcomes or more impactful outcomes, or in some
Mm-hmm.
way, um, transferable skills to the patients that they take care of. We are
Mm.
looking at education programs and how can we build education um, to provide work with soldiers, the elderly, and any population that's looking to learn. Um, and then we're also looking to build this network to bring music on just a just pure joy level, an aloha level with everybody. Um, and that's most of it. We have been working with an organization. One of the reasons we want to build the Kanakapila project, I actually want to build it, um, is I recently met an organization called Stars of Hope, um, which has been around maybe about 15 years now. They provide wellness resources to communities that have been impacted by trauma. And we all think obviously gun violence, but it could be a hurricane, it could be a
Mm-hmm.
tornado, it could be a
Absolutely.
flood. And what they do is they start by sending stars. They paint stars and they send them to a community. They put them up by the street. They put them up
Mm.
on mailboxes. And the back is a QR code saying, if you would like us to come and bring more resources to you, please let us know. And they've been working with communities all over the country. They're actually just running a big program now down in Florida that has to do with the people that are damaged by Hurricane Ian.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we're in dialogue with them to say, wherever you go in a community, we'd love to have access to introduce ukulele players to share their talents there as well. So it would be my project and hope is that we can be an outreach and an organization that can bring ukulele wherever there's a
Mm.
community in need. So that's sort of where we're focusing now. We're still volunteer based. We are still getting our feet underneath us. Our website, if you look at it today, will be different in a week after that. Um, we're still learning and growing. We're looking for people who want to come and help and play and um, play ukulele, meet some great people, and just bring some joy and aloha in the world.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I think that the wonderful thing about the ukulele is that there are so many like hidden communities, there's everywhere in all probably every state. It seems like there's so many ukulele festivals
It's
too, all
great,
over the country.
right?
I always
No,
joke that every week you could be going to and it's probably not far-fetched. You could
no,
go to
no.
a ukulele festival.
We would love to be a part of it. Frankly, we got a call actually hit on our website about 6 months ago from somebody who's in Arizona, who said, "Hey, I play ukulele. I hear you may do work with veterans.
Mm.
Are you down here in our area?" And we reached out to her and we said, "How in the world did you hear about us?" She said, "Well, I was up at a uke fest in Minnesota and they were talking about
Mm.
you." I
Mm.
had no idea who's talking about Minnesota until I was with the veterans this past Sunday, and one of the firefighters who plays with us, he said, "Oh, I was mentioning talking to you guys up in Minnesota."
Oh wow.
There's the mystery.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
it's good. So I'm not sure we're not going to have our own festivals and workshops and
Well,
festivals yet,
yeah.
but we're appreciative of the community, respectful of it. Hope that our relationships can bring some fun and joy. Um, and just share ukulele with people who can really benefit from it.
Well, and I don't think you need to worry about festivals. I would just go out and say, "Hey, can we join your festival?" And isn't there one in New York? I know there's one in New York. I can't think of it right
There
now,
has
but
been. Yep. Ken from the UCut was building it for years, and I think that actually Liz from the Brooklyn Dredgers and Katie from Ukuleles. Yeah, there's just a lot going on, which is wonderful. So
yeah.
we're looking to we're still getting the databases up and CRMs are up, and we've got the donation links up. We still need to build out what is our communication strategy. How do we reach out to
Mm,
people and make sure
right.
that we don't squander the good wishes and intentions of people, that we can actually honor the time anyone shares with us. But we've done a lot. This has only been a year, and
Oh, is that not right? It's
this is
only been
only
a year,
this has
huh?
been 1 year we've done all this. So we'll,
Wow.
I can't
Okay.
imagine where we are next year when we're talking about it, but I hope I'm a lot calmer by that time. But
Hopefully you can get that aloha spirit and that Bombay attitude, as they say in Hawaii.
I would love that.
But yeah, no, that's awesome. Wow, just a year, huh? Well, then uh, as I said, the ukulele festivals are all over, and literally there's at least one or two a month. And I bet you, if you just went to one of them and said, "Hey, can we come by and make a presentation or whatever?" they would be like, "Yeah, come
Yep.
on over."
We'll get there. Thank you for that. That's wonderful. We will get there.
Yeah,
And for now, our only thing is that we're trying to we're focusing on the next 5 weeks. So we're just going to keep our sights there for the festival, and 100%
yeah,
anything we raise goes purely driven right to the hospital. So
awesome.
we
Wow.
want to have the. It would be a humbling honor to be in some small way involved in making that occur for the children in Hawaii.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that would be wonderful for them, and uh, yeah, and they'll be in the land of ukuleles, so I bet you there'll be.
So it'd be
Hopefully,
great.
there's some around.
A couple, maybe a couple.
Oh, let's see. So it so send definitely send the links, and then um, the tickets to the event in on Oahu. Is that can you send that also? If you,
I can send that certainly, and if people can't make it and they want to support it, there's a separate link for donations if people feel it's appropriate and they want to. But we're just looking to create a really memorable, special night for a very good cause, and can't wait for the next 5 weeks to pass quickly.
yeah. So tell me again when it's going to happen.
Cafe Julia, April 30th at 5 o'clock in the evening in downtown Honolulu, and there'll be food and drink, and we may even
Mm,
have some hula, and definitely a lot of
yes,
good music too.
definitely would be great with the hula too. And if
Yep.
yeah, yeah, it, it's pretty amazing when you can have that vibe together with the hula and the ukuleles and the singers. Because yeah, the kanikapilas, that happens a lot there. So the hula,
Mhm.
very cool. All right, well, I think I think you've mentioned a lot of things there. So yeah, when you get a little more information, you certainly can send it over, and we can communicate that out. We make announcements and shout outs, and especially on what ukulele communities locally can do. And then I know you're just getting started, so lots of potential there, I think, and um,
It's humbling.
we'd love to let everyone know about it.
Mahalo.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else?
Thank you for taking so much time and sharing so much time, and I look forward to meeting Doug. But this has been wonderful, and I hope just keep let's keep playing and see what we do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would love having you on here, and we'll love to hear it about what happens next over on Oahu and what you're doing in the future. So
Thank you.
great work. Really amazing stuff that you guys I've been doing, and looking forward to hearing more in the
It's
future.
appreciated. Thank you. Mahalo,
Okay.
Stuart.
All
Okay.
right. Mahalo. Take care.
Aloha. Thank you.
Aloha. Oh, wait a minute. Oh,
What? Okay.
we end the show by a count to three, and we both say aloha. So on the count of three, one, two, three, aloha.
Aloha.
All right. Thanks so much.
Aloha.
Take care.